Greetings, friends. Welcome to our creative lab, Awakening the Souls of Our Nations. On behalf of the Hechal Group and Klangschale Group, in cooperation with the 2025 initiative, we're welcoming you in our circle, this space that we've been creating for the last 6 years together. There's a special welcome to the participants of the Middle East Vigil, some of whom join us today for the first time. The Nations Lab is a hub for groups working in service for their nations. It is grounded in the psychosynthesis of nations as developed by Roberto Saggioli, offering a framework for understanding nations as living, evolving entities with their own purpose and destiny. Our aim is to awaken to the souls of our nations and to assist in bringing the vision and assisting in the process of uniting nations. Throughout our work for the last 6 years, we've been building a meeting place in a subtle world, which we call our council chamber of elders in training. It is a sort of a workspace on the subtle planes, dedicated to uniting nations. It may serve as a seed for a soul-guided, united nations of the future. The present focus in our laboratory space is building what we call Christ Avenues. It's a vertical line of descent, a channel through which the higher energies can flow into the outer reality. It is antakarana between collective entity and its intended design, its potential, its soul. Before we start our work today, zooming in into the theme of the day, which is the Middle East, we invite us to experience what is this vertical line of descent as it's been developed and recognized by us collectively so far. We have this slide as a support for us, to let us our brains to be clear of what we're doing, but let us experience it. Let us unite as a group, linking across the space in our respective nations, meeting together in our council chamber of elders in training. Let us feel the outer condition of our togetherness, mental, emotional, etheric, physical. Sense your nation standing on the pinnacle, the mountain top of your nation. Align with the soul quality of your nation. Bring the outer condition of the nation and the soul quality of the nation into relationship with the group consciousness. Recognize this relationship as a channel, vertical line of descent. Holding the tension of vertical alignment, we invoke the saving force to flow through this channel into the outer condition of your nation. Visualize the invoked energy radiates, distributing and anchoring on the physical plane and the prepared centers of service. And let us refocus back into our council chamber. Sensing the heartbeat of the group presence. Over to you, Uta.
Hello, friends. And I am today speaking on behalf of the Hechal Group and our work with the Middle East. I would like to take you through the same sequence that Alexander now led us meditatively. Alexander, can you put back the slide with the outline, please? Yeah, so I will a little bit speak about how we do this meditation, this Christ Avenue outline that we have developed in the last year or so in the Nations Lab. So we do it in our own way in the Middle East Vigil. So I will tell you a little bit about it. And then afterwards, Sabine will highlight what is now for us in the Middle East Vigil the main focus of our work, which is the heart. And then Helen will lead us in meditation, giving everybody a taste of our Middle East Vigil. And after the meditation, we will have space to share impressions. And this is something we are looking forward to it today, because in the weekly vigil itself, we don't do sharings. So it will be nice to hear your voices after the meditation. So first I would like to say a few words about our group, Hechal. It exists since 1996 as an outpost of universal spirituality in Jerusalem. We had various activities. We were a school for meditation. And in 2012, we have started what became one of our key projects, the Jerusalem Meditation, which has changed into the Middle East Vigil 3 years ago in response to the outbreak of the Gaza war. So we have enlarged our focus from before we were focusing on Jerusalem, on Israel and Palestine only. And now, since 3 years, we have widened our focus into West Asia as a whole. And we changed also the format into what is now the Middle East Vigil, which we hold weekly, half an hour each week, every Monday. The Middle East itself is a unique and very complex region, West Asia, where many forces converge. It's, of course, a multi-nation entity. It's also a meeting point, friction point between East and West, and a meeting of 3 continents and also of the 3 Abrahamic religions. So, and it is a place on earth where there's continuous friction. And as we are all painfully aware, this friction now has erupted again into a violent war that is now engulfing the whole region. So we have decided, due to the intensity of the present situation and in addition to the already very complex complexity of this region in general, that we cannot address today in this short webinar the outer current events. Instead, we will focus our attention on the work method. So I will go briefly through these stages of the Christ Avenue outline. So the group alignment, we usually have our Middle East Vigil group that we are aligning in the usual way. Today we will hold the Middle East Vigil from within the council chamber with all of you elders in training. So this will be a new experience for us. And perhaps we may feel the difference between being what Assagioli calls the best citizen of a nation or an area, specific area, standing on a pinnacle like we just did, what Alexander led us to do, what we are doing in the Nations Lab often, overlooking our particular collective, and in distinction to this, to be an elder in training for the whole planet and addressing this particular collective from within the council chamber, from within a planetary context. The identification is quite different. Yeah, and in terms of the observation of the outer condition, in our Middle East Vigil every week, we start the vigil with a subjective personal observation of our two members who are living in Jerusalem in the middle of all of this. Efrat tells us something about the situation in the psychic field of Israel, and Helen highlights an aspect of what is going on in the Middle East as a whole. And then we are going into the meditation. And we are striving to get an energetic sense of the area on all the different levels, identifying the different thought forms playing out in West Asia, and also what is happening emotionally and also on the physical plane, looking at the accumulated distortions, trying to understand the outer happenings on this basis that is, of course, it's psychosynthesis scaffolding or structure that we are using as an observation tool and, you could say an interpretation tool. Of course, this is a very big effort for both mind and heart with any collective entity, and here with West Asia, it's especially complex. With this being a multi-nation entity with such a rich human history and significance from time immemorial, and still in today's geopolitics, it's right in the center of the geopolitics. And of course now, even more with this war raging, The fog of war clouds the mind and makes our heart raw with the suffering of so many. Especially on the co-workers that live in the area, this is an extreme strain. It's very difficult to rise above our own vulnerability and confusion, while of course managing daily life in disruption and in danger. So that's why, as I said before, today we will not go into the details, into the observation part. Now, intuiting the soul quality. When we do such a work week after week, and also in a big group, we are usually more than 60 people every week from all over the world. So reservoir is being collected, being built, and an intuitive, how can I say, a telepathic link to this higher aspect of this entity, this collective entity, is slowly forming, through which we can have some sense of what is the higher, the soul quality, the higher purpose, the higher destiny of this entity. So, what is our understanding of this region of West Asia is that it is an arena for humanity's unresolved solar plexus issues. Everything to do with identification and belief and sense of self, of struggling for my own interests, my own dignity, all these issues are being played out so intensely in this area. And the big challenge and the task of the co-workers who work for this region is to help raise solar plexus dynamics into heart consciousness. And this involves what Assagioli phrased as transforming conflict into creative tension. Transforming conflict into creative tension. This is essentially a fourth ray work. And this is our current best understanding about West Asia's intended role. On this seam line between East and West, tension, friction will always exist. And can we learn how to turn a friction zone into something that is constructive and creative, an area, a field of tension in which things can come into harmony, perhaps, into synthesis, into unity. Right now we are very far from it, but this is what we can sense as something that wants to happen there. Of course, for this to happen, many old limiting forms must be relinquished. And since they clash so intensely in this area, so we see that unfortunately this violence is erupting again and again. These old limiting forms, they rub against each other. But the day will come when the indwelling soul will awaken and will relinquish outworn forms from within. And in DK's words, beautiful, strong sentence, destruction of form, not by force, but by the greatly strengthened life within the form. That's what we are striving for. And may our soul awakening work support this process. Yeah, okay. And about building a channel, this is actually the magical vibrational work. In the Middle East Vigil meditation, as you will shortly experience, we are visualizing a column of light and invoking the higher forces, in our case, the Lords of Liberation, to release through this channel the saving force into outer conditions. And we have a special way to anchor this saving force, and we are using the great invocation for it in the three languages of the region: Arabic, Farsi, and Hebrew. So as we sound these invocations, we do so as a magical act. We are, the saving force that we have invoked, we are distributing and anchoring it consciously with intent into these different cultural fields of consciousness. Okay, so now you have an overall structure of our specific Middle East Christ Avenue. And now we will focus in on what actually counts the most in this work with cleavages. And DK has a beautiful, strong sentence in the Glamour book when he gives instructions to a group that is working on the bridging between Jews and Germans. He said, "The quality of your love will count, and not so much the accuracy of your analysis or the perfection of your technique." Quality of your love will count. So with this, I give over to Sabine.
Yeah, dear friends. So we are stepping into a new field today. And I directly take you in the preparation to this meeting. When we in the Nations Lab teams started to prepare, we encountered questions and limitation that revealed something essential. Even our esoteric global perspective is relative and rooted in its own origins. The Alice Bailey material has been written evidently for a Western audience, and it uses therefore Western concepts. But the Middle East, leads us beyond our known Western framework and beyond our familiar teachings. Decay has not given us information and guidance about this especially complex part of the human family, so deeply interwoven across space and time. So the question was, on which basis can we approach it? As Western elders in training, we seek, at the very least, to take responsibility for our part in what is unfolding within this arena of the planetary solar plexus. And this leads us first to humility. A humility grounded in the recognition that we are moving into unfamiliar ground, a completely different culture. If we want to really understand it, we need to make an effort to loosen our own mental concepts. As esoteric students, we have the tendency to strive to develop our abstract mind. We love our underlying laws and principles. And this leads us sometimes to lose ground with reality and to bypass the heart. But especially when moving outside our known domain, it is the heart which becomes central. So here we build on our understanding from previous sessions. We already know that the heart is the central organ by which synthesis energy is received and distributed. It is the heart that enables a deeper form of understanding than the mind alone. An understanding rooted in wisdom rather than knowledge, a wisdom of the ages. It can transcend time, space, and inherited narratives, weaving the many strands and apparent contradictions into a coherent whole. It can give a glimpse of a coexistence of contradiction. So it is the heart that holds the essential knowing of both conflict and resolution, timeless possibilities available to humanity beyond any single culture and expression. The heart does not tolerate one-sidedness, distortion, or judgment. It allows us to perceive more wholly. The heart is the organ of relationship, the organ which enables us to come into contact with humanity in all its expressions. So we need a culture of the heart. This requires effort and skill, the skill to turn toward, the effort to consciously open to the difficult situation in which our brothers and sisters find themselves. It needs to become sensitive to their vulnerability and not to be afraid to be deeply touched by the realities of what is unfolding. It takes a heart space to come into contact with the psyche or with the heartbeat of another culture. In such a heart space, we can begin to bridge between cultures and to translate language, concepts, and spiritual ideas across cultures. We can start to move from our familiar abstract terminology into forms that can be meaningfully received outside our circles. So again, it is the heart that can hold unity across differences, that can hold tension, that can transform conflict into a field of creative tension. Let us listen to the wisdom of the Agni Yoga, a sloka from Super Mundane, where it is said, Uruswati can affirm the great significance of the heart. The heart is the bridge between the worlds. Only the heart can unite consciousnesses separated by many centuries. The heart quality is required for all subtle actions. In thought transference, the heart is the prime mover. So you who send thoughts, attune your hearts. And with this, I will pass over to Helen, who will lead us now into the Middle East meditation.
Thank you, Sabina. Thank you, Uta and Alexander. We will enter into meditation now. Settle in our body, in the inner silence. Touching base with our heart between the shoulder blades. Making sure that our heart is purified in harmlessness, so it may hold complex situations. Let us collect our mental forces in the center of the head. From here, let us expand to a planetary perspective. We stand as the soul in incarnation. We stand as the soul in incarnation, in the will to love. For a moment, let us visualize ourselves standing on a pinnacle, overlooking our own nation. Feel our love for our nation and also our freedom from it. Our love and freedom. We expand now our identification, making it planetary, and we step into the function of an elder in training for the planet. We are part of the one planetary server. Now, we let ourselves be drawn to the quiet, clear, and spacious council chamber of elders in training. The council chamber of elders in training. We take our places in the council chamber in geometric order. Just sense the atmosphere in the chamber, the geometrical harmony. Let's take a moment. In the center of the chamber, visualize the flame of our combined, sustained will to love. And let's tune our hearts to it. And hold together this space of intent, sustained love. Now, let us tune our minds into the mental space of the council chamber. A calm, clear, lighted space. And we link to the devas who hold with us this dedicated space. Realize how this space vibrates to the rate of the ajna center of the planet, connecting us with best citizens in all nations. As souls, as delegates of our nations, and as elders in training for our planet, we stand in shared group intent. A group intent of awakening to the souls of our nations and assisting in the vision and process of uniting the nations. Our group intent. Now, we come into resonance with the higher co-workers who guide and support us in the nation's lab. And we ask them to be with us in this session. Let us now prepare for our work on behalf of the Middle East. Visualize the Hechal Group now coming to the center of the council chamber, around the central flame. See them in the center of the council chamber. And tune in with them. And together, we now turn our eyes towards struggling humanity, observing the forces in motion everywhere. See the crystallized forms of an ending age, spending their last forces in distorted and violent ways. And from within humanity, we focus in on the region of West Asia, the Middle East. Taking a moment to observe the extreme forces unleashed. And we observe from the council chamber with composed hearts and clear minds and calm minds also. We observe the mental atmosphere of the Middle East, West Asia. Observe extreme forces raging there. Maybe discern ideologies and thought forms clashing. Let's take a moment to observe this mental atmosphere. We observe now the intense emotional atmosphere in West Asia. Like an inflammation in the emotional body of the planet. We observe on the physical plane of West Asia the destruction going on in front of our eyes. We refocus now in the council chamber, and here we stand as a group and as part of the Ajna center of the planet, with all those who truly care and impartially serve. Let us hold our brothers and sisters in West Asia in our hearts. And now, let us do our transmutive work. From the council chamber, as the word group, we draw a line of light upwards towards hierarchy, the planetary hearts. We open ourselves to receive the love of our higher co-workers and sense their strengthening presence in this work. We continue the line towards Shambhala, the planetary head. And in this alignment, let us open our consciousness to the destiny, the intended design for West Asia, in the friction zone between East and West. Let us take a few moments to intuit. The intended design for West Asia, the destiny. And let us intuit how this violent conflict could be transformed into a field of creative tension. Let's hold this possibility of this transformation in our consciousness. Let us affirm it. Violent conflict transforming into a field of creative tension. Let us invoke the Lords of Liberation to help release all that stands in the way. Release our old imprisoning forms and awaken to our souls and forge together a path for the saving force on our planet. Let the Lords of Liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to humanity. Let the rider from the sacred place come forth and coming save. Come forth, Almighty One. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may we stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of woe has come. Come forth, Almighty One. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, Almighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, Almighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. See and sense a shaft of pure golden white light, broad and brilliant. See it flood West Asia. See a huge column of light pouring through all planes. Hold this column steady in the will to peace. See so light flooding the mental plane of the Middle East. See so light pouring into the astral plane of the Middle East. See so light pouring into the etheric physical plane of the Middle East, penetrating into the earth. Joining with the Devic forces, cleansing the ancient records of evil sharing, and dissolving and purifying them, opening the way to the recognition that every human life is sacred and humanity is one. Every human life is sacred. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. Let us stream the cry for the coming one, who is called by different names in West Asia, invoking him for us all. Let us visualize him in the center of a triangle between the spirit of peace, the Buddha, and the avatar of synthesis. Through his heart, visualize the saving force pouring into West Asia. Through each nation, each ethnic group, each religious group. Revealing a possible way forward for all participants in this war and for all of us on the planet. Visualize the principle of the highest good of all. Visualize it silently guiding the souls and gradually taking root, guiding humanity on the way from solar plexus dynamics into the heart. The highest good of all, guiding humanity on the way from solar plexus dynamics into the heart. This we affirm as we sound the great invocation in Arabic, Farsi, and Hebrew. من نقطة النور في العقل الإلهي ليشع النور في عقول الناس وليهبط النور إلى الأرض. من نقطة الحب في القلب الإلهي ليتسرب الحب إلى قلوب الناس وليرجع معلم الكون إلى الأرض. من المركز الذي تعرف منها إرادة الله لتقود الغاية إرادة الناس البسيطة، تلك الغاية التي يدركها المعلمون ويخدمونها. من المركز الذي ندعون بالجنس البشري لينتج تسمين الحب والنور ويختم على الباب الذي يقيم به الشر، ليجدد النور والحب والقوة التسمين على الأرض. الله أمين.
מנקודת האור אשר בדעת אל, יזרום האור אל דעת האדם, ירד האור על פני האדמה. מנקודת האהבה אשר בלב האל, תזרום האהבה אל לבבות אנוש. ישוב מורה עולם על פני האדמה. מן המרכז שבו נודע רצון האל, תנחה תכלית את רצונות אדם, תכלית אותה מורי האנושות יודעים ומשרתים. מן המרכז אשר נקרא המין האנושי, תוגשם תוכנית האהבה והאור, ויחתם הפתח אל הרע. יהי רצון, ויחדשו אור, אהבה ועוצמה, את התוכנית על פני האדמה. אמן.
از نقطه نور در ذهن خداوند بگذار نور در ذهن انسانها جریان یابد. بگذار نور به زمین فرود آید. از نقطه عشق در قلب خداوند بگذار عشق در قلب انسانها جریان یابد. بگذار مسیح به زمین بازگردد. از مرکزی که در آن اراده خداوند شناخته شده است، بگذار هدف اراده های کوچک انسانها را راهنمایی کند. هدفی که استادان می دانند و خدمت می کنند. از مرکزی که ما آن را نژاد انسان می نامیم، بگذار نقشه عشق و نور کارگر افتد و در به سوی دنیای تاریکی را ببندد. بگذار نور و عشق و قدرت نقشه زمین را بازسازی کنند.
We'll end with an Om. Om.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Helen. Let us now open the floor for sharing impressions about what we experienced in meditation, and if there is any feedback about the work method or questions. And as we said before, let us focus on the work method. And this time, not to relate to the happenings on the ground. To the specifics.
I would just like to start and say thank you. Thank you for, I hate to use this word, spearheading the work of this group that flows into the collective consciousness of all humanity as we do this out loud in words as you speak it, and as we receive those words and take them, just like Sabine said, into our hearts and radiate from that most important place out into the world. We know we're making a difference. We know that our intention of will to good and brotherly love and loving thy neighbor as thyself goes into the hearts of all. So thank you. I am humbly honored to be part of this work and this service to the world.
Thank you, Andrea, for your heart, for your heart presence.
I will share that I'm always impressed with this group, and particularly impressed today, given the intensity of what is going on the world stage. Yet, the work that was done today, that has been done and is ongoing, with such ease and directness and clarity, and yet with so much heart, it's extremely powerful. And I am always, as I said, always impressed with the work that is done in this group. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ligata.
Heather, your microphone was unmuted, but we couldn't hear you. I'm not sure if you were sharing anything.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Deborah, we can hear you. I just wasn't sure if Heather was saying anything. Heather,
Oh,
if
thank you.
yeah, please share later. Yes, please, Deborah, over to you.
Thank you, Alexander. I'm very grateful to be here today, too. In this moment, and in this group, and the overwhelming impression I experienced today is the stillness of the spiritual center this group has created, really permeating as we took upon that ray of golden white light to bring it down, but that its avenue, the Christ Avenue, perhaps you would say, was the attractive stillness and the when it started to penetrate horizontally, it was much like a rain in a area that had been in drought. And one of the things that rises first is the fragrance of the impact of the rain upon the earth. And that's symbolic of saying the essence, the fragrance that arose from the impact of the divine stillness and saving force was really colored by the fourth ray, potently colored by the fourth ray, where every culture in West Asia has such a rich soul. The wisdom implanted in that region where East meets West is so profound, but it's also so human. And so for me, the sense of what harmonized the most was the potential for the uprising, like the fragrance during the reign of our humanity in that region and in the world.
Deborah, thank you.
And there, I see your microphone. You're trying to fix it.
I don't know what to do.
Yes, we now can hear you, but kind of far.
Can't hear me clearly.
Now we can, yes, now we can hear you. Yes, please.
You can hear me. Okay. I felt so aware of this great shared wound that you wonderful people managed to express, a shared wound. And I was so aware and sensed the healing from beneath us, from the saving force above us, and from your clear intention, which has touched all of us. And I thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Heather, thank you very much for your sharing. Touches me.
There is a comment from Carlos from Argentina. It's in the chat. I will read it. The energy of synthesis and the new quality of synthetic love within the Christ consciousness brings the extreme opposites into immediate juxtaposition and then synthesizes them into a new whole, so that conflict in the extreme becomes rapid evolutionary change rather than prolonged division. We are in the first decade of the Aquarian cycle, under the eye of Saturn. Therefore, the community of nations enters the Aquarian mode not by abolishing conflict, but by creating, through the new group of world service, a heart-centered group field of intuitional focus, able to hold the solar plexus crisis, contact the soul quality, and relate both within consciousness until a vertical line of descent is opened and maintained. Through complete alignment, we, as part of the new group, stand in meditative focused tension behind the breath, remain free from incorrect identification, align with Shambhala, the ashram, and the plan, and consciously complete this circuit from the source into Devic substance and back again.
Beautiful, Carlos. Very well expressed and very much resonate with how you expressed it. And indeed, when we are together in each other's presence, we can do that.
There is another comment in the chat from Jonathan. An act of grace by Hechal uplifting all, our humanity of great suffering into the heart as a one, the soul of the many, anchored now and present in the Middle East. A perfected Christ Avenue.
Thanks, Jonathan.
I'm very impressed by the fact that the people who come from the area and directly affected, such as Efrat and Helen, and I don't know, there are others, but I'm sorry, I don't know who comes from where altogether, but I'm very impressed that they can take part in this and retain their composure and show their courage. Thank you.
Indeed, Gillian. Thanks.
Thank you, Gillian. This is Helen, and I would like to respond to that. It is quite a unique experience to be able to be on the ground and to transcend. It's like being in the midst of polar opposites. So thank you all for being. This group is just a blessing, really a blessing for us. And as difficult as it can be, and sometimes we just lose courage, and we gather it back. So a lot of gratitude to all of you. I wanted to say something about Sabina's touching on the heart, and with the three great invocations. The great invocations have been written in English, and there was, and they are translated in many languages. And I would like, if it's possible, Uta has been involved in the translating of the Hebrew, and it took a long time because adapting the great invocation given by DK into a local language, and I'm not talking only of the language Hebrew or Arabic, but adapting the concepts and being able to appropriate it, us, like us speaking Hebrew, and growing up in this area. It was quite a project, and this is the wonderful thing that happens when we open our hearts and try to understand the other. Like us, I'm talking about myself with my background, trying to understand the Western thought forms, the Western language, while I am imbued in my Eastern environment, mental and emotional and physical. So, Uta, if you can just say a few words of what it took to translate the Great Invocation in Hebrew, I'll be grateful.
Yes, so there are a few stumbling blocks even within the Christian environment to talking about the Great Invocation, but definitely in a non-Christian environment. We had to come up with a term in Hebrew for Christ, because Messiah, which is actually the Hebrew for the Greek term Christos, it doesn't convey the Christ, because Messiah is something, Messiah for the Jews. So we understood after a while we cannot just say Messiah. So we had to coin a new term that is something like world teacher. But what was especially a stumbling block was the door where evil dwells, because we realized that the students in our school for meditation, when we used the Great Invocation, the association for them when they said, may it seal the door where evil dwells, they were thinking of the checkpoints between the Jewish and the Palestinian communities, the evil on the other side of the checkpoint. So it took for us, for me, quite taking on. I remember that when I finally made the decision to change the wording, and we said, and may it lift the veil of separation instead of the door where evil dwells. It was like taking on a responsibility, a karmic responsibility, inwardly talking with decay, saying, okay, I don't know if I do the right thing or not, but I do the rightest that I can now think of, that I can feel inside. Yeah, so for quite a number of years, we used may it lift the veil of separation, and only at a certain point we understood, okay, now we can say the door where evil dwells, and it will go through, because we built already enough substance in our spiritual school. I don't know why, but yeah, eventually when we went back to the original. So it's just two examples of several other stumbling blocks with translating or working with the Hebrew translation of the Great Invocation.
Hi,
Yes.
this is Efrat from Jerusalem. Thank you, Gillian, and all of you. And also lots of gratitude for those of you who participate in the Middle East Vigil and for your warm response to us. Thank you a lot.
Yeah, it's quite something that after 3 years of working, 3 years we are working already every Monday, and we have more than 60 people joining. So, yeah, a lot of gratitude to our esoteric community, our co-workers. It's quite something. Yeah, if there's one more sharing, then we need to close already. Helen, you wanted to say something more?
There's a lot more to say, but yeah, we have to close now. Yes, thank you.
Mm. Yeah, Jonathan left another note. How wonderful the magical work of the soul, that the Great Invocation Project synthesizes 3 religious orientations foundational to the Middle East region. Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, thank you all. The support is very much felt.
Yes.
And okay, onward. Next month, April 28, we have our next session, and it will be by the Hechal Group from Argentina. So, bye-bye and see you then.
Bye-bye.
So, dear friends, also with my personal deep gratitude, now coming to the end of our deep meeting of today, I invite you to letting ourselves once again be drawn into the quiet and clear and spacious council chamber of elders in training. Let us take a deep breath, taking our places in geometric order, and sense again the atmosphere in the chamber, the geometrical harmony, the high vibration of our sustained will to love. And let us recognize a new chant, a silent sound of humility, expressed as our ability to let go old thought forms and to work especially on the heart for meeting the unknown. As elders in training in our extended planetary identification, let us reaffirm the heart is the bridge between the worlds. Only the heart can unite consciousnesses separated by many centuries. The heart quality is required for all subtle actions. You who send thoughts, attune your hearts. I wish you a blessed work.